Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
Rocket.
What's up, guys?
What up?
So,
How
Chicken
y'all?
and I are trying not to die. I think this is the worst we've ever had allergy season be for us, so, you know.
it's probably because it's been compounded with a cold from a certain small human that has no immune
a little
system.
chicken nugget. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we sound a little different, then that's why. So we're not, not really dying. It's just allergies. And then next week we probably won't have a show at all because we may actually be closer to that because we'll be getting our second shot on next Saturday. So next Sunday we may be in bed. We'll find out. I'm not saying there's not going to be a show next week. I'm just saying there's a possibility that there's not a show next week.
Hopefully
The
it's not that
possibility they
bad.
feel like death next week.
Yeah. I mean, crazy. Anyway, what games have everybody been playing this week?
I haven't been playing that much. I played some more Outriders. Got up to World Tier 7, playing through with Old Man, and we fought against a giant freaking lava spider. That's the only way I can explain it to you.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Especially the first time you see it, because it's one of those non-combat situations where you can't actually do anything with it, and it just kind of appears, and you're like, "Oh, hey, not cool."
Yeah.
And then the actual fight itself is interesting. Like, got really good elements to it, and it's just I don't know if it's a mini boss or an actual boss. It feels like a real boss the way that you're playing against it, so you're not far enough into the game to know if it's any different. But it's interesting to me too, because we got stuck on this one little area. Old Man and I kept going through this area over and over and over and over again, and finally I was just like, fuck it, I'm lowering the tier level, and it was like, and paper, like they were so easy, and I'm like, okay, well, there's that.
So what you're saying is they need to get some work done on their balancing.
Well, the problem that they ran into, and I didn't realize they had done this. I only figured it out because I happened to be watching Co-Carnage play, and he was talking about it. Is I've been playing as Trickster, and they nerfed the hell out of the Trickster. And so with all the other problems they've been having with the game, the servers, the doing everything else, they went and nerf. And it was like give instead of, and it was like a massive nerf. So it was like, instead of doing a gradual nerf, or at least making it fun for a lot of people that are playing the game, you had a bunch of people quit the game because they had worked so hard on their Trickster, and then the whole damn thing got nerfed on them.
Let me put this point in here real quick. For single player games, companies, please stop nerfing things. It is a single player game. Make other things stronger. Don't bring everything down. Bring everything up. In a single player game, you don't have to worry about the people fighting each other or certain classes being overpowered. You could tune everything up to make it more fun for everybody. Because then you do exactly what Oak said. You bring things down and then you completely destroy a class. And everyone's like, well, shit, I just wasted all this time getting this class super strong, and then you just beat it into the ground and I can't do anything anymore. Just make things more fun, please.
It's very frustrating that they did that. And then, like I said, on top of all the other issues they've been having and everything else, you think they would cater to their fan base just a little bit to be like, all right, we're going to leave this the way it is. It's just like, we're going to focus on fixing our shit. Y'all have fun with what's currently going on right now. And also, who bitched? I want to know who bitched to complain about the fact that they were so OP. Like, Jesus.
I don't know. The people who are doing matchmaking with randos, maybe?
But
Maybe.
even at that point, it's like, what, are you mad that they're moving through it faster than you and you want that whole entire class nerfed so that... Why don't you complain that your class is too slow so they speed you up?
Or just play solo, because you can play the game solo just fine.
That game
that
is
is
such a
a very
weird thing to
frustrating
me. Like,
thing.
this one specifically is just a weird entity. It's like, it's multiplayer, but it's not. It's kind of like couch co-op, but from different houses, which is cool. But it's 3 people, and there's no online component. It's just like, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, I don't. It's just. It's frustrating. It really is. Just because you're like, okay, I got this. I'll be playing it again this afternoon instead of doing Astroneer. Just because I didn't get to play yesterday because I have a headache. I still have a headache. And I think mine is also allergy. Like at first I thought it was like a little too much to drink type thing. And then now I figured out that I think it's allergy because our pollen level has been stupid high for the last 2 weeks.
It really has. And even like the little bits of rain that we've got, it's not made any difference. Everybody's dying right now.
Yeah, it's just horrible. And then I've been playing some more of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I'm really enjoying just the ship battles in general because it's one of those where it's like, and it looks pretty big. I might try to kill it. Let me see. So that's exactly what I do is just go through and
test it out,
destroy him, and try to do what I can. I did take on a level 3 fort today. I should not have taken on the level 3 fort today.
Not well, apparently.
If it was a level 2, I'd been fine. Because I had it down. I had 3 of the 4 towers down off my ship, and I was like, cool. And then I looked to my right, and here comes a big frigate, like coming through, and I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well at all. And it did not. It did not end well. And of course, it sets me up right where I just left off too. So like I'm staring at the 4 towers, and I'm like, I'll try again. Let me see what I got. No, I died quicker. So then I was like, well, I'll just finish the plot line to the level I was headed to anyway. And so I went to do that and just finished a crucial part of the plot line where you kind of find out why the assassins are in the area that you're in, what Kenway's decisions have done to affect the assassins, all that type of stuff to make those decisions. So it's kind of neat to see that. And I like the stealthy part of that whole section because they're like, don't kill anybody. You can't kill anyone in this whole area. And then you go from that to this whole little discussion to kill everyone if you want to, or put them to sleep, or doing them in berserker mode, whatever you want to. It's like this. It's really well done. So I've enjoyed that part of it. I want to do more exploring. I feel like I didn't do enough exploring last time. My ships are out doing their thing for the fleet. If all the ships come back the way that they should, I should end up with about 6,000 in whatever their particular currency is.
6,000 monies.
Whatever that is. So once I get that, I'll be good to go. But that's all I've had.
I will say, because we've had, like, you and I have had specific conversations about Assassin's Creed a lot lately, I think I'm probably going to boot up the Ezio collection in the near future and play Assassin's Creed 2 again. Like, I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling kind of assassiny.
Assassiny.
Let me tell you what I'm not playing right now, though. And I'm pretty certain I did this to myself. So you remember last week when we were talking about the Outriders save file issue, where it's like people with hundreds of hours were getting theirs wiped, and I was like, if that ever happened to my Cyberpunk, I'd be like, oh no, I have to play again. Well, there was a Cyberpunk patch this week, and I loaded it up today to play, and now my game crashes when I do literally anything. Like, I got to where a mission was supposed to start, game crashed. I was like, let me load it back up. I went back to the area, game crashed. Like, didn't even start the mission audio this time. It just crashed the game out. And I was like, okay, I'll go see if maybe it's that mission that's bugged. I'll go and do something else. I took the fast travel, game crashed. I was like, let me load up again and see what happens if I go to walk to a different fast travel. Maybe it's the area that I'm in. I walked to a different fast travel, hit the fast travel, game crashed. I was like, can I load an old save? Like a really old save? So I loaded one that was like 6 hours back. It'll let me play. I was like, let me see if I can load whatever was the previous save. Crashed. I'm pretty sure that that's because CD Projekt Red probably like somehow knew that this conversation happened. They're like, oh, you think that's funny, do ya? Aha, gotcha. I'm like,
I think it's that, and then the combination of me making the comment because GameSpot put out an article, and their thing on it was the fact that, will you go back to play CD Projekt Red, you know, now that they're fixing the bugs and doing all that type of stuff. And I made with Cyberpunk now that CD Projekt Red's fixing the stuff, and I went absolutely, because I played the PC version and it was great and there were no problems, and you all always act like the only version of this game is the console version of the game. I got all these likes from this little thing that's on there, all that stuff, and then they saw it because it boosted up the Twitterverse, and they went, and we're breaking Griff's game.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
So I'm going to just like put it on the shelf until the next patch and see if that fixes anything. Or if it has just completely destroyed that save file. Which if it has, like, again, oh no. I mean, it's not the worst thing that could ever happen to me. I will play that game again, hands down. I mean, it's not as tragic as, you know, spending hundreds of hours that I couldn't get back in something like Outriders or, you know, something like that, like a looter shooter. It's like, it just kind of sucks this morning because I wanted to play a couple of missions. Like, I was at a point where I was looking forward to the next couple of side missions that I was about to do, and now I can't. So
yeah, but that stuff kind of sucks for people who are playing it the first time.
Yes, I will not disagree with you. It's worse for other people.
That happens. Like, that kind of stuff should not be happening when you're fixing your game. You should not be fixing it and breaking it in other parts. I mean, kind of feels like we're going around in circles here.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been patching it for months, and we're still at the point of where you risk playing the game.
Yeah.
Like, if you play it, every time you load up, it's like, well, this saves file's dead. I guess I'll have to start again on the next patch, see if I can actually play it.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that I am an outlier. Like, I had really good luck my first run as far as bugs go. I understand that I'm one of the handful of people that absolutely loved this game despite its flaws. I get that I'm the weirdo here. So I understand that this would be way worse for somebody else that's not me. For me personally, it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks I didn't get to play this morning, but I'm going to restart it and enjoy every second all over again. It's not terrible for me, but it would be terrible for others, and I'm not discounting that. Let me preface it with that. But yeah, so now I'm like, I want to play Assassin's Creed 2, and this kind of frees me up to do so. But another part of me is like, yeah, but I really want to be in like an RPG open world thing. So I updated my Fallout 4 and re-downloaded all my mods so that I could pick and choose which one I wanted to do. I just can't help myself. And it's not even like I have an abundance of free time to play any of these games. It's like, I'm going to play an hour here, an hour there, but I better make sure I have 37 things installed, or else. And then my free time is usually spent playing Ark with these guys on the weekend, which this weekend, they went to, Baka and Chicken and Red went to a cave somewhere, and it was not a fun time for them. But Kat and I stayed on the beach because Chicken's like, for the next boss, we need you to, you know, build a base on the motorboat that we built. And I was like, all right. So Kat and I built this like motorboat mansion that is also a murder mansion if you're not careful. Because when somebody is driving the boat, speaking of which, you can put platforms on that motorboat, but you can't put platforms where the little drive part is. So the driver is like in a pit, essentially. So I built like this nice place. There's a bunch of beds and like we've got smithies and everything. It's got an upstairs level with 2 nice staircases that went up to it. And Chicken was smart enough to put ladders on the back because you can't jump up to a staircase from the water. Apparently you can't like pull yourself up. Your character doesn't think on that level. So the thing is though, is while the boat is in motion, if you leave the floor for any reason at all, you have left the boat. Like if you got on a mount and then dismounted, when you dismount and the boat's in motion, you fly backwards. Actually, you don't fly backwards. We continue forward. You stay where you are and fall in the water, and there are sharks. So
I think my favorite when Fred was like, does the ramp stop? and he jumped and just shot off the back right through the ramp and was like, nope, the ramp doesn't stop you.
And then there were sharks, so he's swimming up and trying to like jump on the ladder to climb up. But if you jump, because there's 2 ramps that go up to get to that second level, if you're on the ladder where the ramp is at, you can't get up onto the ramp. So there's two ladders that are completely useless. It's such a trolley boat. It's a trolley boat.
Yes.
That's all it is. But I could try,
when
try to
you're
get out of the
sitting
chair.
in when you're sitting in the chair and get up, it launches you backwards.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Since
Like
I'm
you just
driving
mass
it-
eject somebody from the boat that way.
All I saw was him sitting up in the chair, and then because the motorboat goes fast, and his character model just steps up off of the chair, and then just launches backwards. The boat just flies out from under him immediately. And he's like, oh. Well, I guess I'll just put this thing in reverse, beep, beep, and then you see a Megalodon just coming right up out of the water, and it's like, what's up, guys? Lunch? Yeah, I'll go ahead and take this to go.
Last night was possibly one of the hardest we've all laughed at that game in a long time, or probably like in general the hardest we've laughed in a long time. And then the night before that, we were taming stuff, and we were taming a tech Quetzal, and Baka saw this green Bigfoot guy that he wanted to tame, and apparently you have to passive tame and like feed them food, but they get mad at you sometimes. And so my sister and I are standing here with this tech Quetzal waiting on it to tame, and we are listening to the conversation of Baka and Chicken discuss this green guy, and
Gigantopithecus.
yeah, and Baka's feeding it. He's like, oh, he's mad. And the next thing is like straight Benny Hill music would have only made this better, but it was great the way it was, because there's like basically where we're standing is we're in the redwood, so there's a tree and a bush, and then some open space, and then another bush and another tree, and it's like the setup for a cartoon, really. And then you just see Baka run by with this thing swinging at him on his tail, and then he goes back. Like they went back and forth like 3 times. It was hilarious. I mean, just the funniest thing I've ever seen, because it was straight up like, we're going to try to make this cartoon skit that you see in every Scooby-Doo episode, but we're going to make it in this game, and it's going to be completely unintentional. It was great. And then he murdered people.
To tame them, you're not supposed to get seen by them. And when I was taming them, I kept feeding him. I fed him like 3 times. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like he instantly did a 180 and turned around and looked at me and was like, nope, I'm going to start punching you now.
Yeah. He did not like Baka. Like, it was just, no. See, I don't understand the thought process behind that either. Like, seriously, what does the animal think that is feeding them? Like, it's just randomly taking berries out of this hand that it pops up occasionally, and the animals...
Well,
like,
here's the thing, is if you're not facing them, where are the berries going?
Do you want me to answer that?
It goes when he's walking. It goes in the palm of his hand. You just gently place it, so then he goes, oh, what's this? And then he eats it.
Yeah, but then
It's
how
actually-
does that
ooh, a
make
piece
him
of
your
candy.
friend in the end? Because he didn't know it was you. So how does that imprint work? These are the things that I think about. Look,
I
okay.
was just trying to go with the option that didn't involve it going up his butt.
You know, the
Because
thing
if
about
you-
it is,
you
though,
watch the
180 turn would be good either direction. So, like, you feed him, and at some point he does a 180 turn because he likes you now. He's your buddy, right? And he's like, oh, this person's the one's feeding me. Now it makes the logic of he's associating the food with you, right? But if you don't feed him the right shit, he does the 180 and starts punching you. So either way, you don't know which way it's going to go until he starts punching.
It was really funny. I wish I had been recording it for whatever reason. It was so good. So good.
That game is just golden.
That game is great when you're with your friends and you don't have to worry about anybody else. Like, I would never play that the way we played it the first time, which was online and a, open community kind of thing. I would never do that again. But playing it with my friends, A+.
Yeah, the cave that we went into actually beat our ass. That was the first cave that only one made it through.
There's only one survivor.
Baka died at one point and his stuff broke. Baka died in the water and he couldn't get back because everything started respawning. So he was out. So he couldn't come back in. So it was down to me and Red. Red's shoes broke. So he couldn't stay warm enough to stay in there long enough. So he had to leave. We ran out of food. Me and Red ran out of food. So we had to run back out, make a bunch of food. We ran back in, killed everything. His shoes broke. He had to leave. And it was just me to find my way through these fucking underwater tunnels to get the damn key. And we passed it like 8 times until like you get out of the water. And as you make your way across, there's this little tiny tunnel off to the left that you could go through. And there's a little pool that you go down into. And then you go through and you find the key.
And you never saw
We
it.
passed it, and I was like, I got it. I'm getting the fuck out of here. So I got out of the baryonyx and just booked it out of there. As soon as I grabbed the key, I was like, this cave. No.
See, I don't go. I feel like the caves are harder than the bosses that they allow you to get to. You know.
The other 2 caves are going to be just as damn difficult,
That's what I'm
too.
saying. Like the first one, you guys lost so many pets and everything, and I think Red died like 6 times.
Okay, first of all, that place was terrible, and that was not our fault. The dinos are dumb. They're like, ooh, lava! Yay! Splash! How do I get out of lava? Psst. Well, there goes another one. Did that like 12 times.
It also didn't help. We had like 8 wolves in there, and they were knocking each other off.
Yeah, Red has an affinity for the dire wolves, so he likes to take a bunch of them, and they don't play well together. I feel like they were trying to kill each
Not
other.
narrow corridors. They just pushed each other off.
Oh man, I think that's mostly what we've been doing.
We also our raid this week. We finished another progression boss. We're 13 out of 15. Only 2 left to go, and we'll have completed Nax.
Yeah, crazy, fun stuff.
Yes. Just an update.
Oh, I did. I forgot to say I did play season 2 of Sea of Thieves as well.
Oh, how do you like the barrel emote?
The what?
I don't have the barrel emote yet.
Oh, barrel.
So because you have to be 13 to get it, and I'm at 8, I think 8 or 9. To play this short amount of time, my ping was at one point 1100.
Why?
Which was
nice.
It would at one point I could stand still and bounce around the actual island I was standing on.
What server were you connecting to? Like one across the planet?
It's just no. I think it was an issue with my internet on my end of it, and it became a problem. So,
really, it became a problem. You were rubber banding all over the island. You think?
Yeah, at one point, like it wasn't so bad when it was 200 or 400. I mean, it was bad, but not that bad. But now 1100 was a little different. So, and when it hit 1100, it might have been worse than 1100, but the game didn't know what to do, so it just stayed at 1100.
Oh my god.
So, like, it was steady on that ping. But yeah, it was fun. We did oh god, what is it called? The vaults. We did one of the vaults. We did one of the golden vaults. Just to have fun with it. We're gonna go to the forts at some point. They've made the forts harder.
Oh,
nice.
And bigger payouts. So
I mean, if you up the difficulty, yeah, I expect there to be better money.
Well, it was kind of one of the things that those people that have continued to play, content creators that continue to play, have asked for, because they were like, this used to be like the main part of the game. Everybody would go to the forts. They would either work together or somebody would wait for them to finish the fort and then they would attack and all that. So it became that hub that everybody went to.
Yeah.
But as they've added more things to the game, less people have started doing that. And so this actually gave people, this is going to give people the opportunity to actually have that payout. Because if you're, you know, a PvP player that's been playing for a long time, you might have millions in gold, but it's a better payout for you to, then you're like, okay, well, I'll take some more then.
Yeah,
you know,
take some more.
yeah, then it's worth the battle you're going through. So, but overall, like, I want the emote though. And if you don't know what he's talking about, there's actually an emote now that you literally put a barrel on top of you. They can't see your name, so you can go tuck somewhere.
Why would they do that? Like,
to
why
create
would
more
they
piracy.
offer you that emote?
More piratey stuff. You better just start swinging on every barrel in your ship every time you
Yeah, pretty much.
leave. These are all real.
And it is a free emote. You just have to get to that particular level. It's not where you use part of the plunder pass or anything like that. So it's not a pay to win situation. So it is. I do want it because I think it'd be cool to just have, you're able to sneak on somebody's ship and then just kind of hide down in the very bottom of their galleon as they come through, and then head back up
That
when
makes
needed.
me afraid to play this game ever again. I already have enough problems with people being dicks, but now you can be a dick and there's a 90% chance that I'll never know you're there. No, I'm good, thanks.
The one thing that somebody did suggest that I think is actually a brilliant idea is make it to where the barrel still reads that you can open up the inventory. Like it'll say open barrel or whatever, and you're physically taking from the person's inventory that they have on them. So that way you can't get caught as that, but also if you're empty, it'll just say barrel empty like it normally would. So if you are hiding down in somebody's bottom galleon, none of those barrels ever open up. So you could actually just find out that somebody's hiding by that open barrel being up there. But that
is true too.
It's actually, I think, a brilliant thing to do if you could make it work with the emote.
Smart people would be like, "Oh, this barrel has stuff in it. I'm gonna take all this, pull out the blunderbuss, bam, bam. All right, thank you. It's like, you ain't getting me this time."
Oh man, we got anything else to talk about game wise, or we want to talk about some news?
We do news fine.
All right, news it is. The news of the day says bad things and good things and some things that are in the middle. How about that?
And done.
A nice mix of
Joe,
things.
thank you for tuning in to Infinite Respawn.
The news is some things happened this week. All right, we're done here. Oh man. Okay,
Where
this
do we
one's
want
kind
to
of
start?
what?
I said, where do we want to start?
This one's kind of a small, we'll just get it out of the way. The lady that was one of the stars of Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Janina, I'm not gonna, you try the last name. You
Gavankar?
Gavin Carr.
There you go. Is joining the cast of the Borderlands movie as General Knox's daughter. And Commander Knox, sorry. This means that it will be okay, this movie, and Chuck and I have gone back and forth about this, because he says movieverse. This movie is Borderlands fan fiction. It is not part of the Borderlands canon. It's just taking characters from the Borderlands game and then building an auxiliary story that has nothing to do with anything in the actual games, which is why none of the timeline stuff makes any sense.
But that's the difference. You gotta
It's fan
break
fiction.
apart. It is why Resident Evil games are different than Resident Evil movies. There's two different canons to it. Like,
yeah, it's
Halo
still canon.
tries,
It's just not the canon to the games.
yes, and Halo tries to canon everything in their universe, and some companies are like, we don't give a fuck. We're gonna make game canonverse, movie canonverse, and book canonverse. All three are totally different. Don't do them together. They just share the title.
Well, I mean, a really good example of that is the MCU, which is so with Marvel Cinematic Universe, your characters are the same, but the actual storyline that you get is, some of it's going to be similar that people are familiar with, and some of it's not, where they've made it up and connected it all together to fit their universe they've done. And I guess that's what they're doing with this.
A connection with the MCU, though. They're all part of the same multiverse.
Yeah, I guess that's different, because I don't think that they're really going to try to do the same thing with Borderlands, because multiverse, I guess the Into the Spider-Verse kind of covers a lot of that, where it's like, look at all these different Spider-Mans, Spider people, Spider things, because there's a Spider Pig too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all like, we acknowledge that all of these things exist. They're all still part of the multiverse, so they're connected somehow, but they're independent also. Whereas this one's just like, this is on the side. Nobody look at it. And I'm
technically, based on one of the other articles that we have, this is actually part of that multiverse. Thank you very much.
It is true. Also, I'm gonna read you the bottom paragraph is the official synopsis of the movie, and I just can't, yo. Okay, so the story will focus on Lilith as she returns to her home planet of Pandora in search of the missing daughter of the universe's most powerful SOB, Atlas. Lilith forms an alliance with an unexpected team: Roland, a former elite mercenary, now desperate for redemption; Tiny Tina, a feral preteen demolitionist; Krieg, Tina's muscle-bound, rhetorically challenged protector; okay, Tanis, a scientist with a tenuous grip on sanity; and Claptrap, a persistently wise-ass robot. These unlikely heroes must battle alien monsters and dangerous bandits to find and protect the missing girl, who may hold the key to unimaginable power. The fate of the universe could be in their hands, but they'll be fighting for something more: each other. I did not add that last part. That is really...
It's written there.
Right now.
This sounds worse and worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that we've gone from having this mystical thing that they're all after all of the time, and, you know, the whole reason behind half the title of the series, they're vault hunters. Now we don't care about the vaults at all. This is fan fiction world where we're looking for a lady. Also, Tiny Tina is... and Krieg... and
Krieg is Tiny
Griff's
Tina's little muscle power.
Borderlands.exe has failed.
Like I said, reading that, I feels like I have no idea what anything about the games that I've apparently played in the Borderlands universe.
That's the whole point, is they don't want it to be that. It's a multiverse, so they can do whatever they want with the multiverse.
It's fan fiction. And I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with fan fiction. If you read, whatever, that's your thing, do it, that's cool. But that is what this is on a very large and very public scale. It's Randy Pitchford's fan fiction for characters that he originally wrote and can now play with in a different sandbox.
But when this spells and it does not do well money-wise, don't look shocked Pikachu face.
Yeah.
Pitchford will throw a pitch fit.
Oh my god, get out. You're fired.
Well done,
He
sir.
seriously will. People just don't understand my creative genius.
Oh my god.
It's like, dude, your story sucks. Go back to just sitting at home and doing nothing.
It sounds like every generic sci-fi action movie with that plot.
Yeah.
It does. You need to go save a powerful person's
save
daughter.
Find the MacGuffin to save the universe.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much... It's
Where's
fan
the
fiction
vault?
because it also follows tropes. Anyway.
Okay, well, that's terrible.
Well, Baka mentioned the whole money situation, you know, it's gonna, don't be surprised when it doesn't make money. Okay, so if your favorite game franchise doesn't make money, it doesn't get a sequel, you can be upset about that, but can you only be upset about that if you did not buy the game at full price? Because the writer for Days Gone thinks so.
Yeah, don't complain if a game doesn't get a sequel if it wasn't supported at launch.
And
Now,
if you didn't buy it at fucking full price... I have many feels on this.
Well, to be fair, he's not wrong, but it's really badly worded. And he's got a lot of feels about it too, because it's one of those where it doesn't matter. Let's say that there's going to be movies that they don't catch on until 5 years down the way, because maybe they came out when something else big came out, and then it was after they had left the theater that people ended up they became a cult classic, if you will, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing with this style of game. When you have a game that maybe came out when there was another big launch or whatever, if you didn't support that game at full price, they're not getting their money back for the development, so therefore they can't justify a sequel. And I don't disagree with him saying that. I don't like how he said it, but I don't disagree with the sentiment behind it.
Okay, here's one of my issues with it, and Chicken, I promise I will let you say what you want to say. It's okay. One, it's a new IP, so you don't know if you want to back it, because you don't know if you're gonna like the game. It's like if you don't like, or if you like it, you should pay full price for it. Well, I haven't played it yet. It's a new IP. I don't know if I like it. And two, with the state of the industry right now, most people don't want to buy games at launch, because at launch they don't work, and this one was one of those that had a lot of technical difficulties right out of the gate. I mean, that's part of why it had mediocre reviews when it launched, is because it had technical difficulties. Like, it stumbled out of the gate. And that's fine. It did become a somewhat, popular game around specific circles and things like that after it got fixed. And a lot of those people picked it up on sale because it had problems at launch. So, I mean, like, there's a circular problem here. It's like games that are good don't get sequels because they didn't get the support they needed at launch, but because of all of the other bad things that happen in the industry, people don't buy games at launch because you don't know what you're getting. So you buy it on sale later to see if you like it. I mean, it's a circle problem.
It is and it isn't, because it falls back, because Horizon Zero Dawn did the exact same thing this one did. Like, when it first came out, it did not fucking come out of the gate and blow up. It came out slow, and it came out mediocre. And over time, as this one did, it built up more of an audience. And that one got a sequel. Like, it's weird how companies will pick and choose, because this game had potential to build an entire world. Like, it had a world building side of it where they could have really improved, and they were ready to start working on it. But the higher-ups were just like, no. It's like, I mean, it's almost like consumers don't have any say at all in what gets made. Like, your favorite game could just get canceled, even if it fucking sold 1 million goddamn copies. Or a mediocre game that they do every single year, and it's always mediocre, could sell 3 copies and get a sequel.
That's true. I mean, I guess part of it is saturation of the market. People aren't going to buy every game at full price, because that's a lot of games to spend $60 and $70 on. And it's not that some of those games aren't worth it. It's just that I'm not buying that at launch. And by the time that I can afford to buy it, it's price dropped. Well, what do you want me to do, Mr. Guy that said I should have bought it at full price? I couldn't afford it 3 months ago, and I was interested in it. Do you want me to, I don't know, like, time travel back 3 months somehow, buy the game, and then come back to where I am now because I can afford it now? Like, it completely disregards people's financial situations as well, especially with what happened last year and is still happening this year. I mean, you got a lot of people that still don't have jobs, and you want to hit us with, you got to spend $60 on a game that you like, or else you don't get to have an opinion on it? That's kind of harsh, and I'm not accounting for a lot of situations.
I'm pretty sure he was just lashing out, being frustrated, which I get. I mean,
I get frustration.
Did pretty decent. And then Sony was like, no, you ain't getting a sequel. It's like, but this game did pretty good. We've got so many ideas to build. I don't give a fuck. And they can't ever do anything with it ever again. Because Sony has the rights to it. So it's like one of those things where you have to put it on the shelf and...
I mean, and I get that, but lash out at your industry peers too. Yell at people like CD Projekt Red for hyping a game as hard as they did with Cyberpunk and releasing it in the state that they did. Because games like that and Fallout 76 and a bunch of other games that we have talked about on the show many times are why people don't buy at launch now. Because we're all afraid of what AAA titles are sometimes.
I'm interested to see what Sony's stipulation is to not have a sequel.
Yeah, like what's
so
the
I'm looking at these numbers right now. Let me look at these numbers right now. So pretty much the consensus is 9 out of 10s when it comes to Horizon Zero Dawn. Within a 2-year period, they'd sold 10 million copies of their game.
Okay.
All right.
So
looking at this, despite mixed reviews, like the game actually sold decent. Talking about Days Gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And in Japan, it outsold 2 other PS4 exclusives at launch, God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn. And then it went on to surpass the lifetime sales of God of War and another exclusive PS4, The Last Guardian. The first 3 days after launch, it sold 114,000 physical units. That's in Japan alone.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
In North America, it was the second best-selling video game for the month of April, behind Mortal Kombat 11. Days Gone debuted as the 7th highest selling for the year.
I mean,
for Sony.
So what is
Like,
Sony basing this on to not give it?
It has to be like risk of I guess how much money they can make off of it. Like, it's still another unknown.
Why make a sequel to a new IP when
they can just remake
one of your other games that they know they can make
it almost makes me wonder. it almost makes me wonder, looking at this, if video game companies, first of all, they're building their games incorrectly, right? Because you're having to guess, this is how much we're probably going to sell. In order to break even, we have to hit this.
Yeah.
But I think they're basing it on their $60 price instead of like a $40 price. Sell it at $60. So, but when it goes on sale, you're still making money.
That's actually a good idea. Adjust what you want to sell each copy for, like $40. So, out of the gate, you're already ahead. And as you go down, you're still ahead. And if it goes on sale, you're about at where you think you should be.
Right.
So,
but that's also if sales hit lower than you wanted to. So let's say you were guessing off 250,000 to be sold, and you end up selling 150,000, but you sold them $20 more than what your break even mark was or your profit margin was. Then you've made enough to get your sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where I think that their mentality was wrong. And it sounds like with Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War, they might have had it already built that way, where this being a new IP, well, of course, Horizon Zero Dawn is a new IP too, but I just wonder if they just didn't figure that in correctly. Like, as the developer, they didn't figure that in correctly, and they might have overspent.
I wonder too if they're looking at it like Horizon's getting a sequel. Why not this one? I wonder if they're also looking at it as like a cultural step forward. Whereas that one getting a sequel is you're giving a sequel to a game that is female led versus another game that is generic white dude that's kind of gruff. I mean, they may be looking at it from a woke culture standpoint. No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Sam Witwer. I mean,
Sam Witwer is amazing. He's a good actor.
He's a good
exactly.
Dude.
Like,
I'm just saying,
first of all,
like, looking at it culturally,
TV show, damn it.
That may factor into it as well, where they want to make sure they play their cards right on a social level, too. I'm not saying that should not, take into account all the other things, like how many copies they sold and everything, but maybe it factors into it a little bit.
Yeah. The top comment, because I don't want to get into like this deep part of it, but the top comment on that article at the very end, it's basically companies need to see other options and bring a sensible consensus that can be reached on how to best to monetize gaming, because we're here at $70 release games and free to play parasitic. Like,
the freemiums.
You've got to find a medium to where games are accessible and companies can make money. It's like you've got to be able to support your game. And I mean, with single player games and there's nothing else to spend money on it, the only thing they make from it is that original sale. Like, how else do you support them short of literally going to their other games and buying them too?
Yeah.
So
that's a good question.
There's got to have some discussion in there on how to help companies continue to profit off of games, like, because the free-to-play Parasite style is just, it's not gonna work.
Yeah,
like, that's automatically gonna turn off.
Well,
and $70 launch prices, like, they'll help, but it's not gonna offset in the long term.
$70
people,
launch
again,
prices, yes and no. You have to be careful that you're selling a $70 full game, not a $75 or $70 shell that you're gonna have another $50 worth of DLC to finish. Because I think that's a problem that we have to address.
Well, and I think again, that goes back to that $40 price point. So if you could turn around and go, all right, you paid $40 for the original one, and then I'm going to do a Game Pass for, we'll say Game Pass, Season Pass, whatever they want to do it for the 2 DLCs coming out for $30. Or if you don't purchase those when that's available, you do $20 and $20. You've made your money off of it because you've got your $40 that you're already setting your profit, and then if people like the game, they're going to buy the other.
Yeah.
I think the problem is they're marking they're raising the price without looking at the full picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if I can get the initial purchase of $40, because if I have 2 games and they're both zombie games and both look decent, and one's $40 and one's $70, you tell me which one I'm going to buy. Because I'm going to wait for this one to go on sale, but if I want the game now, I can grab the $40 one because I can afford that a whole lot easier than I can $70.
I find it interesting that our opinions and thoughts have evolved so much over the years, because before it was I pay $60 and that's the end of my game, and now it's like I pay $60, but if I really like it, how do I help support the developer further in the future? It's like, I get it. Like, I see where things need to go in order to get better games. And companies, this is full on you. Make your fucking games full and done. I swear. Yeah. If you keep releasing this half-baked shit, it's not going to end well for a lot of people.
I do want to mention, too, along that same... It's part of this article as well. They talk about piracy and how it affects the gaming industry. And at one point, a game that was on PSP that this same company developed they showed Sony a torrent that had 200,000 downloads, and showing them how important trying to get rid of the piracy part of it is. So please legitly purchase things if you're able to purchase things. If not, have something like Game Pass to where at least some of that money is going back into the developers. Like, it's just find legal ways to do things to support these people.
Yes, and worst case scenario, folks, if you're going to pirate the game, fine. But if you like it enough, purchase it. Buy it. Like, I know it's hard to tell pirates to stop pirating, but if you're going to at least be a decent pirate at the end of the day, be like, I really fucking like this game. I played the shit out of it. Go ahead and buy it. Yeah. Just put the money down, help the company, show them that the game is worth it, that the work they did to it was good.
Mm-hmm.
And that one leads into...
I looked very confused for a second.
that one leads us into the other article that we were talking about too. Them going with safe investments over risky ones like Days Gone, which we've talked about them doing a Last of Us remake.
Yeah.
And we found out why they're doing it. Because the main Naughty Dog group didn't have anything else to work on.
So they
were like, yeah, you guys can go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
The thing that blows my mind is the Uncharted game remake was on like the same exact plate, and they went,
yep.
We're gonna choose this one that we've already done recently, not the one from 14 years ago.
Well, I mean, they even mentioned that part of this was in an effort to get the Naughty Dog devs more familiar with the PS5 framework, and it's like, so instead of working on this on your own, the entire development cycle of the PS5, when they started letting devs get their hands on this stuff, you guys sat and did what now? And now you don't have anything to do, because in that time when you were doing whatever, nobody was working on any other content. So, like, what is the organization like at this studio?
Well, the thing is Naughty Dog has several different parts of their studio. And this is one part of their studio.
But even then, what is the organization like at this part of the studio that they were like, well, ran out of stuff to do. Guess we'll just walk around until somebody tells us something.
I can't answer on that one. I do know it's one of those where it's like, I don't understand. Here's the other thing about it. The way that this entire Last of Us / Uncharted thing started was a side group just trying to get into the business and be like, hey guys, come to us for your remakes. And they literally went, that's a great idea. Here you go, Naughty Dog. You do your own thing. They literally stole it from these other people that were trying to do it.
It makes no sense to me. And let me tell you, I love The Last of Us. I think out of principle, I will not be buying this. Like, just out of principle, because I can't, like, from an organizational business standpoint, you had employees just sitting around doing dick all, so they took it upon themselves to remake a game to see how the PS5 stuff works. Who's leading these teams? Please hire me. I can probably organize it at least moderately better than that. I mean, geez.
I just don't understand. Like, if you had a choice, this game's been released a couple of times. You just had a release of Last of Us 2. And then you're going to turn around and remake this game because money, not kidding. Literally, this is going to be the easier version of this to do, and we know it's going to sell. That's literally what they say. And I'm like, but so Uncharted, if you give me Nathan Drake, the original version of him, and Sully going in and that storyline and put it on a PS5 with modern graphics, I'm gonna drool the entire time I'm playing this game because I love the original anyway. And it's just like, oh my god, what is happening?
Yeah. I mean, if
And
you're
that
gonna
game
remake
needs a
something,
remaster.
yeah.
Ugh.
If you're gonna, because they did the remaster. Uncharted has the Uncharted collection, that is remastered version.
It was like the original.
but-
It's like a launch title on the PS4 though.
Yeah,
so it's
like-
not that good of a remaster.
Well, the original was.
It's better than the PS2 version.
Yeah. I mean, let's just rebuild that. If you want to learn how that stuff works, rebuild a game that will legitimately get people reinvigorated. We've all played The Last of Us so recently that most people are going to pass on it, probably. Because it's like, well, I already bought 3 copies of it. I really don't understand why you want me to buy another one.
So weird.
I have a lot of
Yeah, I
feelings
know.
about a lot
Everybody
of stuff.
feels
I'm
the
sorry.
same way.
I'm sorry. Obviously not everybody. Somebody must think it's a great plan.
Yeah, and Sony.
I mean, I don't know. Again, on principle, I will likely not buy that
The
game.
most profits for the least amount of effort. That's what they're doing.
Yes.
Well, because I mean, to be fair, they wouldn't have to do this on Uncharted either. They don't have to, unless they're shooting a new scene of some sort. They don't have to bring any of the actors in and do any of that stuff. They could just literally reuse everything that's already done from the game.
Yeah.
They don't have to pay anybody but the actual people that are creating the graphics. And even then, because I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% positive on this, but I believe they used Unreal 4 the first time through. And if they did, the new version of Unreal literally just transfers those assets over. That goes over to PlayStation.
They just upload it on the new Unreal
It
Engine,
literally
you're good to go?
upgrades. Like, okay, here you go, guys.
How to milk the consumer base. We're going to upload this game into the new engine, and then we're going to export it immediately and just sell it again. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, from remakes of a game that nobody asked for to a game that people probably asked for that got canceled. The Lord of the Rings game that Amazon was gonna make, the MMO, yeah, it's not happening now. It turns out the company that Amazon was working with Athlon Games, which is a subsidiary of a Chinese publisher, Liu Technologies, but they got bought by Tencent. And so Tencent tried to basically renegotiate all of the contracts for that team to develop that game. And those negotiations were not successful. So it's not happening now, I guess. I mean,
I will be interested to see because if Amazon has the rights to the Lord of the Rings,
yeah,
then it's a possibility we still see a Lord of the Rings game, just not an MMO. They'll just have to hire somebody that's out on there because you don't want to waste that opportunity to make money off Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you really don't. But
Well,
you know, at the
they
same
have
time,
a TV show coming up as well, so
that
that is involved.
That they've spent, I think the last number I saw was $634 million on. It's
Well,
like, I think it's going to be the most expensive TV show ever created.
I hope they can recoup
And that is saying something.
Yeah.
First of all, I
hopefully
can't
Weta
wait.
does better with the CGI than they did in
With $634 million, just buy a real fucking dragon. Okay? You can find one with that kind of money.
Oh no, those are straight up billion, dude. What's wrong with you?
Oh, that's fine. Bezos will pull out his wallet. You said $1 billion? Do you take a check? Here you go. Oh, you want gold coins? Don't worry, I got them too.
You know, somebody in the comments, I was scrolling through the comments on this, and somebody said that Amazon and Google should team up so they can become the world's premier game cancellation service. We forgot to even mention that Stadia is, like, going away.
Yeah.
No.
We talked about
Not
it.
just going away, they're now Luna.
Well, Amazon has canceled 2 of their announced games now, and New World is their last game that they're producing right now, which I was talking to Oak. They'll probably go for a hat trick after it's released and cancel that one too. It's like, at least
They'll
we
just wait
released
until
it.
it's out there.
Yeah, then they'll cancel it. I mean, they've
Yeah.
delayed
It'll
it
be
3 times
out
now.
for a couple months, and then it just cancels.
Yeah.
The game looks pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. I've watched a bit of it, and it looks like it could be a fun MMO. But I do not have faith in Amazon to do anything right.
Yeah, same.
To do anything fun, I should say. I
don't
think
have
they know
faith
how to
in them
make
do
money. I
anything
don't think they
right.
know how to make games.
Well, I mean, they do things right. They just do TV shows and movies right. But the difference is,
Stick to your specialty, folks.
yeah, like, but you know, you're trying to get into this element, and they're trying to create something for their Luna project that they've got going on right now, which is basically Stadia. So Google's just eliminate theirs, and then you've got Amazon's version. And so you have, the thing is I think New World, based on the fact that I'd known people that have played New World and enjoyed it, if they build on top of what they were trying to create, and I think they looked at Valheim when it was released, it's like, we're not getting anywhere near this. We need to do better than what we did because of Valheim. And I think that they're possibly learning from it. But you got 3 studios, 2 of which are now defunct, that you could just move all those people in to work on one game if you wanted to. So I don't know. They're going to have one project that works, because Crucible just like died within 2 months. So, you know, just have to see.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Sorry.
Speaking of huge investments in content, we talked about Epic Games last week and how they were losing money, but somehow they secured $1 billion in funding, and that's including $200 million from Sony. Now that is a huge investment, and it's into their long-term vision for the metaverse, which is Fortnite, which is dying. So, I mean, maybe these companies see something that that the rest of us just don't see. I mean,
or maybe they're choosing not to see it so that they can plow
these
forward.
Gimmicky kind of events are gimmicky and not long-term. Like, I don't think it's going to
It's not
make
just
the game come back.
Metaverse is not just Fortnite, right? It's Rocket League, Fall Guys, right? As well.
Yeah. It's gonna
All
build
which
all of
have
this
fallen
stuff.
in popularity.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they all have niche markets, I feel like, but it's definitely, they hit really hard and then have slacked.
Yeah, like, I mean, I get it. Like, you want to bring all this different stuff into the universe, because I know in Fortnite we've had so many different events and things. Fortnite has broken down platform holder walls around crossplay and brought together rival bands through collaborations, and seemingly no one, except Nintendo, is immune to being included, because Nintendo is never going to sell you the rights to Mario and Fortnite. You will never have it. Because Mario doesn't go anywhere Nintendo doesn't want. But they have brought a lot of things into Fortnite. God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Predator, Marvel Universe.
DC's been there, because you've had Batman as well.
Yeah, like, they've done so many collaborations, but I mean, in my opinion, they really haven't done anything, because it kind of gets a little spiky. Like, the first few were like, yeah, and they were talked about, and then they kind of fade away. Now it's like, yeah, and then they like steep away even faster.
It's lost so much momentum, you know, because you used to be, when you clicked on to Twitch, you had 550,000 people watching it. The only time that it was ever in second place is if the League of Legends stuff was going on at the time for their tournaments. And then but now it's down to like 100,000 people, 90,000 people or something like that are watching it at the time. So you can kind of see.
Fortnite's 157 right now. Like,
there you go.
All the other ones are, I mean, GTA has 668,000. Still, again, all right, I guess Rockstar just has it made.
Well, I think
No, a lot of that actually for GTA is the role playing stuff
That's
Yeah,
like,
no
Rockstar
pixels,
doesn't care
definitely.
though. They are still selling copies of the game somehow.
One of the things that I think one of the comments down here mentioned, and I think that we overlook because of how Epic is framing this, they're framing it as an investment in their metaverse, but Sony probably put a large chunk of that in to secure their licensing for Unreal 5.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So some of that is probably not Sony going, we believe in Fortnite and everything that you do with your Epic store. They're like, no, we need to license Unreal Engine 5 things.
It's probably where they're going to send all of their games to too, which actually is a bit surprising, because Days Gone is on Steam.
Yeah.
Immediately. So that like, it's weird. Sony's like, yeah, we'll put games on the Epic Game stores. but we don't care that much. We'll put it on Steam too. So,
I mean,
okay, but
Well, they did
I
have
mean,
timed exclusive for a few of the games
Yeah,
that
for
ended
some
up
of
moving
them.
over to Steam.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they pick and choose. I don't know. It's weird. It's like they do have a relationship, but then every so often they're like, whatever. We'll just go.
but I mean,
over
what
to
kind
you."
of relationship is it really? Because somebody else mentioned, what kind of investment is it to have Alloy jump out of the battle bus and fight Master Chief? Because there's already Microsoft products and stuff like that inside of Fortnite, in the metaverse. So, it's weird. It's weird, man. It's weird.
I don't understand, like, I don't understand the investment part of this. Like, I really don't understand. Like, because they're like, we were 28.7 billion. By the way, $1 billion is what we got in investment. It's like, what?
Yeah.
And they're hemorrhaging like.
This is the other 800 million.
250,000.
That's not from Sony. Is that from Tencent? Let us know, Tim. We need to know, man.
Yeah, like, where is the money coming from? I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. I really feel like Epic is doing the PR thing where they're trying to frame it differently than it really being like, well, a lot of this is licensing for other
Is
stuff.
Epic Online Services just their servers? Is that all that is?
Probably.
I think so.
Okay.
I really think that in 10 years that Epic's gonna like crumble. Like I don't see their long-term survivability. Their games aren't as popular. Their store is still crap, and they're just kind of trying to bring in as
and
much
the
money
draw
from
to their store
from-
isn't that people go there to buy games, it's that people go there because they throw free games out all the time. So people are there for the free food. They're not there to support you. They're not there to pick up
unless
other
something
things.
changes, they're gonna eventually crumble under their own weight.
But I also feel like they're trying to do almost a Blizzard model, which is we have this very popular game, and that's what we're going to base our client on, and then we're going to start adding stuff to it. Where Steam is like, we made games. We don't make 3 of each one of our games. We only make 2 of each, but we made games, and we're just going to sell everybody else's. And I feel like with this one, they're like, we're going to base it on Fortnite, and then we're going to buy Rocket League, and we're going to buy Fall Guys, and we're going to have those. And it's like, but it's not the same.
Epic
It's
seems
really
like
not the same.
their
Yeah.
ambition got the better of them. Like they're trying to run before they've even figured out how to crawl.
Yes.
Mhm.
And they
Well,
showed
got
that
into
real
the
hard
car
with the
and put that
store.
motherfucker in reverse on accident and
Yeah.
just started driving backwards. They're like, you probably should have taken a few driving lessons.
Do any of us know if Fortnite is still in beta? For a long
It
time
went
when
to
people
full
would.
launch. That's
Did
in
it?
full
When?
launch.
I don't know if it went to full launch. I think it's just chapter 2.
It's gotta
In
be
beta.
in full launch. You can't be in beta for that long.
Says who?
Me.
Rust would disagree with you on that one.
Yeah,
That's true.
Arc
And so would
Yeah.
would
Yeah, Bach is right.
Star
Arc.
Citizen. Star Citizen's like an alpha and has been for like 5 years, 6 years.
Check it, or are you looking it up?
Yes.
I feel like there was an
What does it say?
announcement about full launch at one point, right? Wasn't there?
I don't know.
Surely
I
Fortnite
always
is
figured
not
that the
in
reason that they
beta.
put beta on it is because their guns would change like every week.
Wow, June 30th, 2020.
Is when it hit full launch. After years of marketing toys and other like miscellaneous items to children everywhere, your game finally hit full launch.
And
Oh my
after
God.
8 months after chapter 2 hit, I think, or 6 months after chapter 2 hit.
Oh my goodness.
Okay then. All right.
Well, no longer in beta.
Yeah.
Is there like a Charlie? Is there something that's after beta? It's not quite a full launch.
Oh my god. I don't know. We've got 2 things left. You want to talk Resident Evil or you want to talk Nintendo?
I feel like the Nintendo one's gonna be kind of quick.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, let's
the
just
Nintendo
go ahead and
one
talk
will be
about
quick.
that one then. So Nintendo is suing Switch hacker Gary Bowser. Didn't they have an employee named Bowser that recently
President
left?
Bowser.
He's
the
the
CEO's Bowser.
Nintendo, yeah, the president of
Thanks.
Nintendo of America is Doug Bowser.
Thank you. That's why I was confused.
So
I was like, is this the
it's
same
Bowser on Bowser
guy?
action.
Bowser on Bowser violence.
Oh my god. See, that's why I was confused when this article first came up. Because I thought it was the same
So-
person. And I was like, wait a minute, isn't he there employed by them or something?
That's Doug. Come
So
on.
these guys
I'm
have
bad
been
with names.
doing mods and whatnot. Team Executor have been doing mods and breaking consoles since the Xbox. So they've been around for a long time. But
The interesting part about this article to me is the fact that these people are already in jail.
Are they?
Like, yeah.
I
them
only
are, yes.
skimmed. I
one
was
of
so...
them, one of them's still at large. The Chinese guy is still at large. Chen, I think is his last name, and he's still at large. But the other two are in jail, and Nintendo's suing them after they're in jail. And I'm like, but it doesn't say what the charges are exactly against them.
It does. The lawsuit is trying to charge Bowser with 2 trafficking counts and 1 copyright violation.
That's the what Nintendo is suing them for.
Right.
That's not what the U.S. government has.
That's not our
arrested them
business.
for.
Oh.
That's not our
Yeah.
business.
That's not our business.
So yeah.
I think Nintendo saw them get caught and was like, all right, this is our chance. We know where they're at. We're going to fucking rip them apart now.
Right?
Which, to be fair, they have been selling cracked consoles and things like that, which most companies are going to, of course, fight you for that. And also, back in 2014, Eurogamer reported that Gateway had been accused, which is another part of this company, just a different name, have been accused of allowing users' 3D consoles to become irretrievably bricked by a secret kill switch it introduced in a recent update. So basically, they released an update for the 3DS consoles, and it bricked people's systems. So they are assholes.
Yes, they are.
I mean, in the most basic way, they are assholes. Which sucks. Oh, Gateway is a device. Okay. Wow, so they are really big assholes. They sell you a device that you use to break your console, and then they update that device and they break your console. Like, what assholes?
And maybe to try to force you to get a new one to make more money.
I guess so.
I guess.
Oh, weird way.
I mean, that's just stupid. Nintendo wants $2,500 for each trafficked device and $150,000 for each copyright violation, and a complete shutdown of Bowser's operation.
I
So
mean, I'd like to know
goodbye,
how much money
Nintendo
that
of
is.
America. I'm just kidding, not Nintendo of America.
I don't know if you could charge.
Per device.
I don't know if you could charge them for each device that they used on that one, because it's not like, because the device was purchased legitly.
Yeah, but
It's
then
not
they
like they made
purchased
the
an
device.
item. So.
For by the law standards, they can request that. That doesn't mean that that's what they're going to get.
Oh, I
Yeah,
guess
you got to remember, it's like they're selling things like Game Sharks that you put into your console that completely breaks, that cracks it open, and they want to charge for each one of those they sold. Which, I mean, if they're smart, they kept logs, but if they're dumb, they kept logs. And if Nintendo ever gets a hold of those and sees how many people bought them and how many they sold, they're really in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, but again, you could buy something, but doesn't mean you have to use it.
That's true.
I mean,
True. But why
Yeah,
would
but I
you
mean,
waste
I think
money on
buying
something?
shows intent to use, though.
That is true.
I mean, it's not like I'm just like, I'm so made
Yeah,
of
but
money, I'm
they
going to
didn't-
buy something I have
they
no
didn't
intention
buy,
to
they
use.
sold. So technically, you should go after the people that bought them as well, based on what they're trying to do.
I mean, to be fair, knowing Nintendo, if they have, in the logs they have your name and address and whatnot, Nintendo's going to be like, well, these switches log into this person's address and brick that console.
Yeah,
they
they
wake up
won't.
one day.
Well, that's the thing, is I think that the whole idea behind this is kind of ridiculous anyway. Like, these people are dumb, don't get me wrong. They shouldn't have done what they did. But at the end of the day, Nintendo's end of it, once I purchase the console is mine.
The operating system is not. It is property of them.
But on a 3DS, I don't ever have to connect to the internet after I've first fired
That's
up.
fine. Then whatever you want to do with it is your own. But if you start messing with stuff online, then that's where you cross the line.
Right.
That's why
So
you
it's
always
just
have
kind
to
of,
keep your stuff offline.
I think it's going to be, this is kind of a newer problem that you're dealing with, but the 3DS isn't made anymore, so who the fuck cares now at this point?
Well, it's because they're doing it with the Switches now.
Yeah.
All right.
Too funny.
Well, let's talk Resident Evil then. Chicken, tell us all about it because you've probably read the most into this.
I didn't watch any of the. I didn't watch the trailer
Well,
for
who am I
Resident Evil
supposed to
8.
count on now?
Well, I
Right?
didn't want to watch it because I don't want to see any of the extra
I
stuff.
guess that's true. I do that too.
I did watch the Netflix CGI series, the intro for it, where they show Leon and Claire.
Oh, he's
First
so
of all,
good.
it takes place 2 years after the events of Resident Evil 4, so it is canon. It takes place in the universe, and the president in that is the same president from Resident Evil 4, where you have to go rescue his daughter. So it's still canonically sound, where Leon's still working with the president, and then somehow the White House gets attacked by zombies, and then it looks really good. Excited, but that's all they show you for now. It's a good trailer if you like Resident Evil, kind of get you a little hyped up. Resident Evil 8 is also going to come back with the Mercenaries mode. Thank God. Oh my God, quit fucking around with all these weird offshoot different style side games like Resident Evil Recore or whatever the hell that thing is. Just give us Mercenaries. It works. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then I saw the article where they were like, yeah, you get the Resident Evil 4 in VR, and I fucking just blew up. And then I saw it was for the Oculus Quest, and I cried.
Yeah, he was like, I cannot believe this. I'm so mad right now. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was even like kind of, if it wouldn't have been the Facebook one, I'd still be kind of like, oh yeah. But you have to have a fucking Facebook account and all that bullshit. It's like, I just want to play the game. I don't want to have to sign into your damn social media.
Okay, the demo
What?
thing is weird. Did you look at that?
Yeah, so basically you've got 2 demos that are coming out. One is called The Village and the other one is called something else. I can't remember off the
Well,
top
they're
of my head.
both 8 hours in the village, but you can play both the village and the castle areas over preceding weekends. Each area will be opened up for 8 hours, in which you can then play 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a time trial style thing. It's weird. Like Capcom
They
makes really
did that
good games.
with another game too, where like it was like you only get so long to play, and then the game basically keeps you from playing it again.
Yeah, well, they did
Resident
that-
Evil 2 did that.
Yeah, they did that with that too, but it wasn't like you had
And
an
Resident Evil
8-hour
7.
window to play 30 minutes of it at some point or something like that. And I also think the 30-minute thing is weird.
7 had a straight demo though, because I played it.
Yeah. But now
Yeah.
they're doing the 30-minute thing.
Whatever. Capcom, do what you do. Your demos are weird as hell, and I have no idea what the hell you guys are on when you're like, it needs to be 8 hours on May 5th from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. In this region for this many people, and they only have 26 minutes
We've
to play.
actually already missed them.
The weird thing about
What
it
was
is too is the
yesterday,
fact
the other day.
that in both of them's case it was for the PS4, PS5 users.
Yeah.
So at some point, I'm guessing down here in the article that there's one for other people, because if you remember in their first showcase, they said, "Don't worry, we'll have other demos for the other
I
devices."
guess?
But it's not saying that.
That's weird.
Like, why they got to be weird about it?
The demo will be available for all platforms for 24 hours starting May 2nd at 1 a.m. UK time or 2 a.m. in Europe. In North America, this will be from May 1st at 5 p.m. Pacific for 24 hours.
There you go.
Which I might try the demo. I don't care. I'm ready to play it. Like, you sold me on it. Capcom makes a really good Resident Evil game. They learn from their mistakes. Like when they made 6 and they were like,
All right, people
yeah,
don't like this.
we see where we made a mistake, and then they came out with 7. We're like, yeah, you like this, don't you? And everyone's like, make more of that. We like that.
You like
Well,
this,
what was
don't
funny
you? Okay,
about
well,
7 is
again,
what I
huh?
remember is everybody's reaction to the fact that it was in first person versus,
Yes.
and everybody was like, "No, that's not the way Resident Evil's supposed to be." And then they played the demo and they're like,
don't
"Okay, I can
worry.
get into this."
Don't worry, they're doing the same thing again with Resident Evil 8. Werewolves? How dare you introduce werewolves into a Resident Evil game? Don't worry, once we get to the demo, it's gonna be like, I could do this.
But
Okay.
they introduced a 9-foot vampire lady, and they're cool with that.
That's 9'6", sir. 9'6".
But whatever.
You better.
The,
you better
the,
make
the Amazon vampire.
I don't know, man.
I mean, if
But
I was,
I'm ready to
she's
play
the one
it.
that kills me, I'm okay with dying at the end of the day. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
am totally ready to play Resident Evil 8. I have no doubt that it's going to be absolutely solid. They know how to evolve their games. Like they tested with 7. They were like, do the people like first person? Okay, they really like the horror element and whatnot. We can, but the problem was that it was slow and there wasn't many enemy varieties. There's just the molds and there was a lot of horror elements in there, but it kind of stagnated in certain points. And they're like, okay, we see you. We're gonna take this and then we're gonna take Resident Evil 4 and we're gonna mesh them together. And here's your Resident Evil 8. It's like, oh, hell yeah. You better believe I'm going to get all over that.
Then something's going to happen and Dying's going to become a first-person shooter like Call of Duty.
That's going to be important as long as they don't, like, tilt too hard trying to evolve the style again. Like, because you could see it with the original series, and they're like, oh, we went too far, let's pull it all the way back. And it's like, okay, all right, turn the dial again. All right, you got the right amount this time. Don't go too far. Oh shit, we're Call of Duty Resident Evil. Now, damn it, I can't go back again.
Maybe you could actually have a decent multiplayer in the end of that. The gunplay was fantastic in Resident Evil 22.
Yeah.
Oh my god. We would have to stop numbering them at some point. At some point, people stop taking you seriously.
Well, I mean, they did a really good job with
Final
Resident
Fantasy
Evil.
16.
Do I know?
I guess that's true.
Final Fantasy 16. Like they're just naming the Final Fantasies, or they're numbering the Final Fantasies. Always have.
True. That's
We
true.
will keep naming them.
Well, Resident Evil has names. I mean, you got Biohazard with 7, right? This one's Village.
Technically,
So,
it's Biohazard. It's all Biohazard in I want to say Japan because they can't they can't use evil in the title.
Well, I know that, but the title for 7 in the U.S. is what I'm talking about. Was Biohazard.
Well, my favorite thing about how they name their games is how they fit the Roman numerals into the game or the
Village.
number into the title. Like, because Resident Evil Village is you got the V8, the V1, or whatever. You've got it in the title. That's important to be able to kind of slide it in there to where you can keep naming them, but you cleverly disguise it.
Too funny. Anything else?
No.
That's all for me, folks.
We do appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. You can check out Griff.
At Griff's Lineham.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
Check out Baka.
Pocket Pickle.
Also, make sure that you go to Griff's YouTube channel. She just dropped some stuff this past week. Woohoo! Like what, Sunday? Was it Sunday?
Yeah, it
last
was Sunday
week?
because I said something about it, remembered to do it, and then forgot the other 2 videos because I meant to do them this week, and it didn't happen.
So you'll get one this week and one.
And then we'll be done until fall.
There you go. Also, make sure that you go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313, where hopefully Chicken gets time off to be able to stream.
I do not foresee
Gotta
it
make
in the
time
near
to be able to
future.
play. Yeah.
You have to do some night streams so you can.
Yeah, I
get
know.
this in.
I gotta start reorganizing my life to put the streaming back in there. It's like that old meme where it's like, where can you take things out to replace it? It's like, I don't need sleep. Stream. They both start with S, right?
You're funny. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree, where you can check me out almost every day of the week. And currently playing through Outriders, so you'll see me doing that. For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
Bucket.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.